Begin here in Billings, where a shooting is under investigation. The victim told police he was shot while searching for scrap metal in an alley. Billings police tweeted just before 2 o'clock this morning that the shooting took place in the area of North Park. They say a 37-year-old male is in stable condition after being struck by a single handgun bullet to the lower body. The victim says he was followed by a man who he has an ongoing dispute with. The suspect attempted to block the man into the alley, causing their vehicles to collide. That's when shots were fired and the victim was shot through his car. Police have identified and are searching for a suspect. Now we go to Northern California, where the death toll in the massive wildfire has risen to 48, and authorities continue to search the rubble for remains. The blaze that ripped through the town of Paradise was the deadliest and most destructive fire on record in the state. Here's a live look at the flames right now. In Southern California, firefighters reported progress against the Woolsey fire on Tuesday, but with some flare-ups in the area west of Los Angeles. Montana firefighters that departed over the weekend are arriving in California to help thousands of men and women already on the fire lines. Q2 spoke with Columbus Fire Chief Rich Cowger, who says his crew and 2 engines from Red Lodge arrived and are now in the staging process.
Resources come in and they've got to get checked in and accounted for. All their information is given to the command team that's there, and then as they go through the planning process, as the management team goes through the planning process, then they'll look at the resources they have in staging and then be able to insert them wherever the need's greatest in the incident.
Cowger says the Montana crew should find out their assignment by today. On to election news. The race for Yellowstone County District Court judge is proof that every vote counts. This comes after the final vote count flipped the results. Ashley Harada was declared the winner Tuesday afternoon by 119 votes. Last Wednesday, after initial votes were tallied, Julie Pierce led Harada by just 59 votes. After counting provisional ballots Tuesday, Harada took the lead, but it's not necessarily over. That difference still falls within the recount margin.
Under Montana law, anything, including a tie vote up to 0.25% difference, it's a free recount for the losing party to petition for. That doesn't mean we're all working for free, so it probably will cost the county $10,000, if not more. I'll have to figure that out.
The race for a new judge is not the only one too close to call. There's only 17 votes separating the candidates for House District 51. Republican Frank Fleming is ahead in the race over Democrat Darrell Wilson. Meanwhile, members of a state legislative committee grilled Secretary of State Corey Stapleton on Tuesday over a mistake his office made in printing the voter information pamphlet this fall and the high-cost contract to fix it. The $265,000 contract to print and mail a correction to voters in early October went to a Billings firm owned by Republican political consultant Jake Eaton. Stapleton, a Republican, told the State Administration and Veterans Affairs Committee that he's known Eaton for some time, but that he chose the company because it was the only one that could do the job in a timely fashion. The original voter information pamphlet, mailed to 470,000 Montana voters, did not properly identify the language in state law that would be changed by Initiatives 185 and 186. Stapleton says he learned of the error on October 9th and wanted to get correct information to voters by the time they received their absentee ballots in the mail several days later. He said other print shops couldn't get the job done until days later at the earliest. Democrats on the committee said the corrected mailer fell short of what they would expect.
There's no Secretary of State stamp on this. So when I received this, I went, is this a joke? Is this one of those phony mailers that they're trying to garner my support for something that's not accurate?
I'm with you. I expect us to excel and put out perfect documents. And again, when it wasn't, we did our best to fix it. We satisfied the legal requirement in my mind because we got it there in time so that people got it as they got their ballots. And we also did the best thing for the interest of the voters.
Republican members of the committee noted that the cost of the mailer came out of Stapleton's budget, which is funded by fees rather than taxpayer dollars. Now we go to Gallatin County, where a suspected case of AFM, a rare disease that causes a neurological condition, has been confirmed in an adult. John Ebelt with the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services says test results are also pending on a second suspected case in the same area. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention confirms dozens of cases of acute flaccid myelitis this year in the U.S. Usually found in children, the last confirmed case of AFM in Montana was reported in a child in 2014 here in Yellowstone County. In other news, Cloud Peak Energy, which owns 3 coal mines in the Powder River Basin, is considering a sale of the company. The Gillette-based company announced on Tuesday its board of directors and legal team are starting a review of strategic alternatives, including a sale. The company's statement says no decision has yet been made. Cloud Peak owns the Antelope and Cordero Rojo mines in Wyoming and the Spring Creek mine at Decker, Montana, and currently employs 1,300 workers. Cloud Peak stock closed Tuesday at $1.33 a share, down about 7% over the day. The company sold 58 million tons of coal to U.S. and foreign markets last year. Cloud Peak says its operations will continue as normal as the sale is considered. Phillips 66 and Bridger Pipeline announced preliminary plans for a new pipeline to haul Bakken crude oil to the Texas Gulf Coast. The proposed Liberty Pipeline would transport as much as 350,000 barrels of oil a day from the Bakken to Corpus Christi, Texas. Details regarding the pipeline route and where it would originate were not announced. Bridger Pipeline spokesman Bill Salvin told the Bismarck Tribune that if the project moves forward, it's anticipated to begin operations near the end of 2020. Salvin says interest from shippers will likely determine the final route. The two companies launched an open season on Monday, which means they're in the process of determining the amount of interest in the project. The sudden plunge in oil prices this week should soon translate to savings at the gas pump. Online gas tracker Gas Buddy reports that over the past month, the national average pump price has dropped 24 cents a gallon, and the experts believe there's more to come. Most states will see a decline in pump prices of at least 5 to 15 cents a gallon ahead of Thanksgiving. Petroleum analyst Patrick Dehan suggests motorists shop around for the lowest price, as some stations will pass on savings faster than others. A new contract with the Teamsters Union is passed by the Billings City Council, giving workers a raise. The council unanimously approved the deal the union voted to accept last month. The contract will go into effect retroactively from July 1st of this year through June 30th, 2021. It guarantees employees a 2.9% cost of living increase for each of the 3 years at a cost to the city of around $697,000 a year. Teamsters 190 represents the largest share of Billings City workers of around 420 employees. A new ad is hitting the airwaves, reminding Montana residents they can get their Real ID driver's license or state ID starting this January. The new ads feature a modern-day Lewis and Clark alerting Montanans about Real ID and how to get started. These ads, which started running this week, were created by students at Montana State University Billings in conjunction with the Montana Motor Vehicle Division. The ads include information about the availability, cost, and potential benefits.
We went with a Lewis and Clark theme because we wanted to evoke the idea that this Real ID law is really about keeping Montanans safe, and it's consistent with our identity of being traditional and safety bound and patriotic, and it doesn't interfere with individual freedoms at all.
Beginning June 1st, 2019, a Real ID or passport will be required to enter federal facilities, nuclear power plants, and board flights at the airport. And before we wrap things up, we want to thank our viewers for supporting our Turkey Tuesday drive for the food bank. This year, you donated over 700 turkeys and thousands of dollars in donations. The donations will go to the Billings Food Bank to help feed those in need this holiday season.